Hello, everyone. This is James Zarling coming to you with the second part of this video series. And so we'll be going through a couple different things in this video. We're going to be starting by showing you how to start our project here. So I have a couple things. I have my crochet hook, which is a 5mm. If you can see that there. Oh, will it focus? That's always the question. It is a 5mm. I have some yarn right here. And the first thing we're going to do to get this project started to work on this headband is we need to make a slip knot and then make our foundation chain. And so to make that slip knot, you can use any method. I'm going to show you one here today, but you can always look on YouTube, find something that works better for you. When I use this yarn, the yarn string that's connected to the ball is called your working yarn, and the other string is just called your tail. And so what you're going to do is you're going to grab it, and then you're going to pinch the yarn together. So you have a little loop here at the top, and then I twist it once, I twist it twice, and then I reach through that loop and I grab the working yarn. So I reach through, I'm trying to show you here, and I grab it, and that creates a little slip knot. And so it's called a slip knot because you can adjust it as much as you want. And then you're going to put that right on your crochet hook. So that's how you make your slip knot. The next part is you're going to have to find a way to tension your yarn. I do that by wrapping it around my fingers like this. That's how I tension my yarn. And then I can pinch right where it's connected to the crochet hook to give me a little more leverage. There's no right way or wrong way to do this. There's several different methods to hold your yarn. And so what you're going to do is you're going to start by making your foundation chain. There is no right number, no wrong number. You can go as much as you want. The more stitches you put on for your foundation chain, the wider your headband is going to be. So I'm going to start by putting 18 stitches on my foundation chain. And to do that, I pinch it right here and I take the hook, I go up, I grab the yarn, and I bring it back through the little hole. And that you have one stitch on there right now. Now, the tricky thing about crochet is you actually don't want to hold it too tight. You don't want your stitches to be too tight. That's going to be harder for you to work back through. So I just put on one. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to grab it. This is called a yarn over, and bring it back through. Now I have two stitches. You don't count the stitch that's on your hook. So I'm going to keep doing that. Yarn over, bring it back through. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I put 16 on there, and that's because I want a total of 15. And so now if you look at your hook, I'm trying to give you a good view, your stitches look like the little V's that come down below. And I'll take some pictures so you can all see that. But you can see the little V that's right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to end up going into all of those V's with your hook. And so we're going to learn what is called the single crochet. And so you're skipping the stitch that's attached to your hook. You're going to the one right below it. You're going to go right in between that V, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to yarn over and come back through. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over one more time and bring it through both of those. That's called a single crochet in America. In England, it's called a double crochet. So yeah, that's a single crochet. We're going to do that with every stitch all the way through, and we should have 15. So we've done that once. Let's do it again. Go through it, grab the yarn, bring it back through. Now I have 2 on, yarn over, and bring it through. I've done that twice. So same thing, we'll go through each of them. And feel free to slow down, speed up, rewind, watch this as many times as you need to. I do that often with my YouTube videos. Done it 3 times. Grab the yarn, bring it back through, yarn over, bring it through both. I'm going to go through each one. So we keep going. If you're ever wondering where you're at, you can take a look. And if you pull the yarn, you can kind of see where it stretches out a little bit right here. That's basically pointing to the next stitch you have in the line. So go right through, grab the yarn over, pull back through. And we're going to do this for every single one for our headband. And what we're doing is we're making the foundation chain. The very first chain that starts starts your project. I go through each one. I go all the way down. And don't worry if this takes you a little bit of time. It takes your hands some time to get some good muscle memory to kind of learn what you're doing. Practice different tension styles if that's helpful. Some people literally only pinch the yarn between these two fingers right here. Some people use their entire hand, whatever feels comfortable to you. We're going to keep going. And last one. So now we're at the end of our foundation chain. That's how you start, and you can see we have this row. If you turn it towards you so you see the thinner part, you can count on top each of your stitches all around here, all the little V's, and that will tell you how many you have. So where most new crocheters have a little bit of trouble is this next part, which is we are going to chain 2. So that's yarn over, grab 1, go through once, yarn over, grab through, go through twice. That's the second time. And now we're going to turn our work. So we literally are just turning it to the other side. And now we can go back through the row. So this is where keeping track of your count for your stitches comes in handy, because if you do too few, your project's going to narrow in on itself. If you do too many, it's going to widen out. And you want to have just the right number. So we want 15. What we're going to do next is we're going to start doing a double crochet. So we just did a row of singles, we're going to do a double. And where you do that is important. And so if you look at the top, you can see we have our single stitch right here. It's kind of connected right here where my two fingers are pinching. There's that little V. We're only going to want to go into the back line right here. And in fact, let me put a pen right through where we're going to be, or maybe a little post-it note so you can see it. I have a yellow post-it note here, and so we rip off a little piece and I'll show you exactly where we want to go through. So I'm going to put this right in my stitch so you can see where you should be going through, just to make it more visually easier to see. So actually that's the one right next to it. So you're going to want to go right through this V right here. And I will show that to you in a second. I do not make a lot of YouTube videos, so bear with me, folks. So you have your work right here, right where the little post-it note is. You're going to go right through that back loop. Should be away from you, away from your hands, and you're going to want to go right through there. That's where you're going to start. So to do a double crochet, what you have to do is before you go through that spot, you have to yarn over once. You bring it around your loop. Now, before I even go in, you can see there's 2 loops already on my hook. And so then I'm going to go in to that back loop, grab the yarn, bring it back through. Now I have 3 loops on my needle. And so on my hook, you're going to yarn over one more time, go through just 2 of them. Now you have 2 left. You're going to yarn over again, go through the last 2. So you've done it basically twice. Now you're going to go into the stitch right next to it. So same thing, yarn over. So you have 2 pieces of yarn, go through just the back loop. Yeah, grab the yarn, bring it back through. Now you have 3 on your hook. Grab the yarn, bring it through 2 loops. Grab the yarn, bring it through 2 loops again. And you're going to do this all the way through. So I'll do it a couple more times just so you can see it. So wrap it around your hook once. Bring it through the back loop on top of the stitch. Now you have 3 on your hook. Grab the yarn, bring it through 2. Grab the yarn, bring it through 2. And we're going to do this all the way down. Wrap the yarn once, go through the back loop only. Bring it up. Go through 2. Grab the yarn, bring it through 2 loops. This is the double crochet. This is probably the most common stitch you'll find in crochet. I think. And once you get used to it, you can increase your speed. And like I said, you can go back and rewatch this as many times as you find helpful. So we'll just speed it up a little bit. And you can be counting as you go through if you want. But this is basically going to be the pattern all the way through. We're not going to change it. We're going to do double crochets through the back loop until you reach a length that basically wraps around your whole head, covers your ears, and comes back together. And so it is a very nice pattern for new crocheters. It gives you the practice with the double crochet. It gives you practice making sure you keep the right stitch count so it doesn't go too thick or too thin. And this is your project. You can get more elaborate once you have some practice. You can switch out colors and really play with different colored yarns. There's different stitches you can learn, but this will give you a good foundation in the basics of crochet. And I am never offended if you want to look at other videos too. The basic pattern here is 15 stitches, and we're double crocheting through the back loop until we reach a good size for a headband. And we're getting to the last stitch here. So when I'm looking at my stitches, you can see there's only one more V right here to go in the top. And right where my thumb is, you can see that's where the V is, right there. And you can see the yarn right here. Get my finger out of the way, connecting to it. So we're going to go through the back loop, real big close there, back loop, grab the yarn, bring it back through. We only have two. Yarn over, bring it through two. Yarn over, bring it through two loops. And that's it. So we're going to do one more row, and I have a tip for helping folks if they're new. And so what we're going to do is chain two, because we're at the end of our row. So we'll chain two, one, yarn over, bring it through, two. Now we've done that twice. Now turn our work. And again, we're going to go right into this very first stitch, the back loop. What's helpful here is if you have a clothespin, if you have something to mark where you're ending or beginning your rows, that way it'll help you keep track as you're first getting started. So I'm just going to use this clip. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take the legs out of this clip. So, I just have this. You can use anything around the house, a rubber band, if you have a spare piece of yarn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my first double crochet. So wrap the yarn around once, go through the back loop of this very first stitch, grab the yarn, bring it back through. Now yarn over and go through two, yarn over and go through two. Now we've made our very first stitch right by my hook right here. Very first one for the next row is up there. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put this binder clip through the very first stitch so I can keep track of where that was. And that way I'll know at the end of my row where I should be ending when I come back through the other way. This is a great way to keep track of your rows so you don't get too many or too few stitches, especially when you're first starting out and it's hard to count. As soon as you do the first one for a new row, you put that in there. And so I'm going to pause the video and we'll pick it back up and you can see what that looks like.